What's going on, guys? It's Kyle. This is Big Money Mindset. Pleased to bring you another video here today. And in today's video, we're just going to be going over the stock market in general, what's been happening. We're going to cover a lot of different things today. All right, so we're going to talk about the stock market, what happened with hyliion last week, elections, forbearance. We're going to cover all of that. Um, if hyliion, could not pop during a merger, most likely none of the SPAC stocks will pop during the mergers the first week or two. hyliion had products on the road, great management, pretty smooth merger in 1 week, no massive delay. A sell-off happened because the initial spike was there. I thought it was going to be there with that 12% pre-market gain, I believe, on Monday. But after all those pre-market gains were erased, I had to exit. People were impatient, and the sell-off was caused by fear. Each and every percentage drop that occurred. What most likely will happen to the good SPACs is they will follow in those footsteps. SPACs like DraftKings, who just took some time to begin taking off. So most likely that's what I feel will happen with hyliion. There will be a sell-off, then some of their numbers and earnings come out down the road. People will start buying in again, and then it'll make their run. But these pops like Nikola are virtually out of the question. Most of that pop was from false information and hyping up products that were non-existent, taking pre-orders, etc. So we're learning a lot about how SPACs operate very fast. I just feel like initial hype around mergers is most likely over for all of them. The best thing you can be doing with SPACs is buying in as early as possible for the ones that you believe will be successful down the road. They may run a little leading up to the mergers, but even with these sell-offs after mergers are completed, you have nothing to worry about because you're in so early. October may be rough. Politics is having a war back and forth. The media is going to get very involved. And just remember, just because a company you're invested in is a great company does not mean the media can't turn them all into falling knives whenever they please. All they have to do is go back to a 6 week in a row coronavirus marathon and the stock market will continue bleeding out. The best thing you can do if you want to be invested in these times with the stock market is buy into the stocks that have proved to dominate during the pandemic. Roku, Zoom, Redfin, Zillow, Amazon, Overstock, Peloton. Some of these are some of my best gains this year, and that just came from a handful of these specific stocks. After we pass the elections, there still might be some roadblocks in the way with the housing crisis. Millions of people are still in forbearance around the world. Once those forbearance extensions expire, banks will demand payments, and if payments can't be made, the houses will be foreclosed. This could affect the stock market as well in 2021 after elections. Inventory is at an all-time low currently because people are scared and holding off in their houses as long as they can, even if they can't make those payments because the forbearance is in place. And we'll take a look at some of these extensions that are in effect right now. We will take a look at some of the Trump statements that he just made recently, the Dow Jones being affected, and forbearance numbers with potential stocks that could skyrocket during a housing crisis. So if anyone takes the time to look at Donald Trump's Twitter, you're going to see that he just went on a rampage Tuesday, because this video is most likely coming out on Wednesday. So he went on a rampage. You might see 20, 30 tweets. But the main important one you want to look at is this one specifically. Nancy Pelosi is asking for $2.4 trillion to bail out poorly run, high crime Democrat states, money that is no way related to COVID-19. We made a very generous offer of $1.6 trillion, and as usual, she is not negotiating in good faith. I am rejecting there. So, as you can see, this has 170,000 likes, 58,000 retweets. I'm not going to comment on what I think about this specific tweet because I don't like to get political on my YouTube, but just know that this type of tweet has affected the stock market drastically. I can comment on that. And we're going to take a quick look. This is just Tuesday night as well. Dow Jones swings 600 points after Trump rejects stimulus plan. And we can see this was about 4 o'clock after he made that post on Twitter. Stocks took a dive Tuesday afternoon after President Trump said he ordered to end stimulus negotiations until after November election. The Dow swung more than 600 points following the announcement and closed down 376 points. So just know that this is a very drastic hit to the stock markets in general. Will it recover or will it just plummet in October? I can't say for sure. All I know is you're in a very volatile market right now. Even with the regular stocks as well as the SPAC stocks, we are seeing the SPAC stocks sell off way more than these regular stocks. And I just want to let everyone know that follows me. Yes, I have a Patreon, of course. I talk about specific stocks and options plays in general. 90% of those options are for 2021. You have to make adjustments in the stock market, okay? You can't just play the same game plan when types of stuff like this is happening with these elections. So everything is for 2021 as far as call options. We have realized call options are very volatile, and this is just some adjustments we are making. I don't recommend anybody playing call options around these mergers anymore. We are seeing these mergers for these SPAC stocks don't have any further pop to them. You know, a lot of these are selling off after mergers, so you just want to get in early on the SPAC stocks. When SPAC stocks have gone too far into that $30, $40, $50 range, you just need to pass. That is how you limit your risk. That is just how I limit my risk. When stocks go too high for me, it's time to pass, and you need to go in on, SPACs that are just lower price range, SPACs that are just popping up recently. You want to get in early. You want to do the research and get in early. That's what's going to give you the cushion for these sell-offs. So just remember that. Sometimes you need to pass when stocks go a little bit too high, these SPAC stocks. So just remember that. And I just want you guys to understand, once we get past these elections, there's another roadblock in the way. The housing crisis, the real estate crash. It is potentially going to happen in 2021. I don't think it's going to be as bad as 2008, but just understand the coronavirus has done a major setback to the economy and real estate, and it's going to catch up to us eventually. It will catch up. So forbearance rate drops to 6.81%, MBA says. The U.S. forbearance rate measuring the share of mortgages with suspended payments fell to 6.81% in the last week of September, the lowest since mid-April. Okay, so we can see that it's doing a teeny bit better since the beginning of the year. About 29% of total loans in forbearance are in the initial plan stage, while 70% are in a forbearance extension. That's what you need to understand. 70% are in a forbearance extension. These will come back once the forbearance completely ends. These people will have to exit their homes. NBA said the remaining 1.4% are forbearance re-entries, the report said. The CARES Act passed by Congress at the end of March gave mortgage borrowers the option of suspending their monthly payments for up to 12 months because of the pandemic. Borrowers just have to attest to their mortgage servicer that they have experienced a financial loss because of the health crisis. So guys, just understand, once that 1 year extension ends, these banks are not going to be having it no more. These people will have to exit their homes. And I watch a lot of real estate YouTubers, that are, been doing this for years. Some of these guys are 50, 60 years old, and they're saying that, once it comes around April, May, we're going to see a massive amount of volume into the real estate. And this basically can affect the stock market, if there's a real estate crash, because homes are going to go to the can. I mean, we're talking 30, 40% off. I mean, it's an opportunity to capitalize if you have a lot of cash saved up. Obviously, this is going to be a time to grow your wealth, for the next 10 years to come once we make it out. But just understand, this is going to be another roadblock in the way after the elections pass. So these are just some things I wanted to bring up to people. I just want people to, watch out. The stock market is highly volatile. Elections, up until, mid-November, we can see a lot of volatility. There's no telling who's the president's going to be. So there's just a lot of things to look at. And I did list those stocks for you, that are good pandemic-proof stocks that are already proven back in March. So take a look at those. As far as next year, with this forbearance plan, I know it's a little bit ahead, but you just want to be thinking of, opportunities that you can take advantage of. Um, you need to think of, what's going to be correlated with the real estate crash. You got to think of, Rocket Mortgage. I mean, Rocket Mortgage was the nation's largest mortgage lender by volume in 2019 and claims close to 9% of the market share, according to its IPO. So this is a brand new IPO that has just been out on the market for a couple of months, and I think it was around like $30+ a couple months ago. And this is going to be a massive stock in 2021, and you can still purchase in around $20. This is what I'm talking about. You want to get in early to provide you that cushion. This could be a potential stock that moves the way Zoom did. You just don't know. This is going to be the one that people are going to be capitalizing on as far as, buying up these foreclosures. They're going to be making a killing. And also a SPAC stock that is, one of the first real estate ones I'm seeing is going to be IPOB. We can take a look at IPOB. They're hovering around 16. They've been selling off. This is Open Door. We know that Open Door, is going to be making some crazy money in 2021. We can take Open Door generated $4.7 billion in 2019 revenue through sales of more than 18,000 homes. So they're going to be capitalizing in 2021 as well once this forbearance finally ends. So these are just, you have to correlate stocks to what's going to be happening with the stock market. So mortgage companies, home selling companies, these are what you need to look for. So do the research, take a look at those. Just understand these are cheap right now. That's when you want to get in, when they're $20, $10, $15. That's going to provide you that cushion in case things go south during sell-offs. For everybody that's been following me, I do want to say I really do appreciate it. At this time, I still do not make any money with YouTube. All I do is make money in my Patreon. I try to be as up-to-date as possible in the Patreon. We're constantly making adjustments. The stock market is very volatile. Some people want to make money. Some people don't want to wait. There's so many different variations of things you need to do. We're trying to do our best as of right now. From what we are seeing that happen with these spec stocks leading up to these mergers, I mean, these things are not having a lot of pop. And if you want to play option calls on these, you want to be doing them long. I'm doing all my call options from now on in 2021 plus until we get out of this volatile market. And I'm sorry I wasn't up to date on the videos. It wasn't just me getting click bombed. I did have a surgery. I was in the hospital for over 3 days. I'm sure a lot of people are aware. I tried to go live. Some people did not see my live, and I'm still getting some hateful comments that I wasn't there for people, when the stock market was crashing and a lot of these specs were selling off. I'm sorry that I overhyped some stocks that I did see some pop going to happen, and it just didn't happen. Things can happen, things can go south really quick, and I want people to be more prepared, have more cushion when they're buying in. You need to understand when to pass on stocks when prices are just a little bit too high. And these are just things I want people to understand now moving forward. So if you're still following me, I really do appreciate it. I know a lot of people are upset. I'm not going to be going too crazy into, hyping up the options right now because the market is very volatile. I did lose a little bit of money, but I did have, stop losses in place, for these spec stocks that went south real quick. And that's just something that I didn't bring up to a lot of new investors, and I want people to understand. You need to have a break-even percentage of getting out and just moving on. That's what you need to do. You don't want to hold off on a stock too long. You need to bounce and move forward to a new opportunity when some are just not making out, the way we planned. So I really appreciate everyone that's been following me. We're going to try and make a return to this channel as soon as possible. Google's still doing an investigation on my channel, so I hope I can make some money down the road. So I really do appreciate everyone that's been following the channel. I'm going to try my best to start getting back in the groove. I'm feeling a lot better after my surgery. Once again, I want to say I really do appreciate everyone that's been following me, and I hope you have a great day.